Are you over 60 and feel tired legs, cold feet, or constant tingling? These could be signs of poor circulation. In today's video, you'll discover the 3 best foods that help improve blood flow naturally, strengthening your health and quality of life. Stay with me until the end to learn how to include these foods in your daily routine. Blood circulation is one of the fundamental pillars of our health, but its importance often goes unnoticed until signs of problems begin to appear. After the age of 60, maintaining good circulation becomes even more crucial. This is because as we age, the body undergoes a series of natural physiological changes. Blood vessel walls tend to lose elasticity. The heart may beat a little less efficiently, and blood may circulate more slowly, especially in the extremities such as the hands, feet, and legs. This process is not necessarily pathological, but it is a reflection of aging that requires extra attention. Good circulation means ensuring that blood, along with the oxygen and nutrients it carries, reaches all tissues and organs in the body properly. Blood is responsible for nourishing every cell, removing metabolic waste, and participating in essential immune and hormonal processes. When this flow is compromised, even slightly, the consequences are systemic. We may notice seemingly mild symptoms, such as constant tiredness, a feeling of heaviness in the legs, frequent cramps, and cold feet, to more serious signs, such as wounds that take a long time to heal, varicose veins, high blood pressure, and an increased risk of cardiovascular and neurological diseases, such as stroke. Over the years, the risks of poor circulation increase, especially due to other factors that often accompany aging: a sedentary lifestyle, poor diet, a history of smoking, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. All these elements together contribute to the narrowing and hardening of the arteries, a condition known as atherosclerosis, which severely compromises blood transport. And even in people who do not have chronic diagnoses, the simple accumulation of decades of unhealthy habits can begin to take its toll after the age of 60. In addition to the direct physical effects, poor circulation can have a profound and often silent impact on quality of life. Imagine someone who has always enjoyed walking but begins to experience pain in their legs after just a few steps, or someone who feels their toes go numb in the winter and is unable to warm them up. Small daily discomforts like these have the power to isolate, limit, and even lead to depression, especially when older adults begin to avoid leaving the house, moving around, or socializing for fear of physical discomfort. That is why healthy circulation should be treated as a priority, not only for longevity, but to maintain autonomy and well-being in all dimensions of life. It is also important to consider that poor circulation is strongly related to lower brain oxygenation. The brain, as one of the organs that consumes the most oxygen, depends on a constant and efficient blood flow to function fully. When this supply is impaired even slightly, memory lapses, difficulty concentrating, excessive sleepiness, or even mood swings can occur. No wonder many studies link circulatory problems to the acceleration of dementia, such as Alzheimer's. In other words, taking care of your circulation is also a way to keep your mind active and healthy. In this context, after the age of 60, it is essential to take an active approach to your circulatory health. This starts with awareness, observing the body's signs, reporting symptoms to your doctor, getting regular checkups, and monitoring your blood pressure are simple actions that make all the difference. In addition, it is important to understand that circulation is closely linked to lifestyle. Diet, regular physical activity, adequate hydration, and even sleep quality are factors that directly influence vascular health. Physical exercise, even light exercise such as daily walks, stretching, or water aerobics, helps blood circulate more efficient, strengthening the heart and stimulating venous return, that is, the movement of blood from the extremities back to the heart. The leg muscles in particular act as a kind of auxiliary pump, propelling blood upward. When these muscles are underused, as in cases of a sedentary lifestyle, blood tends to accumulate in the legs, causing swelling, a feeling of heaviness, and an increased risk of thrombosis. Therefore, exercise is a simple, effective, and accessible way to improve circulation at any age, especially in older adults. Another crucial factor is diet. Many foods have the power to improve or harm vascular health. A diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and good fats helps keep arteries clean and flexible, reducing the risk of blockages. On the other hand, excessive consumption of ultra-processed foods, refined sugars, fried foods, and saturated fats promotes the accumulation of fatty plaques on the artery walls, making it difficult for blood to pass through. In this sense, knowing the right foods and incorporating them into your routine is a tool. It is essential to understand that taking care of your circulation after age 60 is not just about preventing disease. It is about preserving vitality, freedom of movement, the pleasure of walking, dancing, playing with grandchildren, or simply enjoying life with energy. Efficient circulation is what brings life to tissues, organs, and the brain. And although aging is inevitable, the way we age can be profoundly transformed by our daily choices. Poor blood circulation is a condition that often develops silently and progressively, especially among the elderly. It does not usually manifest itself with alarming symptoms at first, but rather with subtle signs that can easily be confused with the natural aging process itself. health. However, ignoring these signs can allow the problem to progress unchecked, compromising vital functions and significantly reducing quality of life. Therefore, it is essential to know and identify the most common symptoms that indicate that something may be wrong with the blood circulation in the body. One of the first signs that many people notice but do not usually associate with circulation is a constant feeling of cold feet and hands. In mild temperatures or even in heated environments, older adults who suffer from poor circulation may report cold extremities, as if the blood is simply not reaching these areas efficiently. This is because when blood flow is compromised, the areas furthest from the heart are the first to suffer from a lack of adequate oxygen and heat supply. And while it may seem simple, this constant coldness in the extremities is an important indicator that blood vessels may be constricted, blocked, or losing their elasticity. Another common symptom, especially in the legs, is a feeling of heaviness or tiredness after walking short distances or standing for a relatively short period of time. This is not just a sign of muscle weakness or a sedentary lifestyle, as many people think. In fact, it can be a direct response to the body's difficulty in getting oxygenated blood to the muscles and returning it back to the heart effectively. When blood encounters resistance in the vessels, or when the valves in the veins begin to fail, blood accumulates in the legs, causing discomfort, swelling, pain, and even a burning sensation. In more advanced cases, these pains can occur even at rest, especially at night, interfering with sleep quality. Frequent cramps are also among the warning signs. Many people associate cramps only with dehydration or lack of potassium, and these factors can indeed contribute. However, in people with poor circulation, cramps occur because the muscles are not receiving enough oxygen during physical exertion, even if it is mild. This causes painful involuntary contractions, which often force the person to stop whatever they are doing. When they become frequent or always occur in the same places, especially in the calves or feet, it is a sign of a circulatory problem that needs to be investigated. Swelling in the legs, ankles, and feet also deserves special attention. Edema, as it is clinically called, occurs when there is fluid buildup in the tissues, which can be caused by inefficient venous return. This happens when blood that should be returning to the heart ends up accumulating in the lower part of the body due to gravity and the fragility of the veins. This swelling can worsen throughout the day, especially if the person spends a lot of time sitting or standing, and tends to improve when the legs are elevated. Although it is a common symptom in older adults, it should never be considered normal. It can indicate not only poor circulation, but also heart, kidney, or lymphatic problems. Other less obvious but equally relevant signs include paler or bluish skin in certain areas of the body, especially the fingers and nails, recurrent numbness or tingling, and even hair loss on the legs. The latter occurs because poor circulation reduces the supply of nutrients to the hair follicles, compromising hair growth. Similarly, the presence of wounds that take a long time to heal, especially on the legs or feet, can be a clear indication that blood is not able to transport defense cells and healing factors efficiently to these areas. If left untreated, these chronic wounds can develop into serious infections and even amputations, especially in people with diabetes. It is important to note that these symptoms can vary in intensity and do not always occur in isolation. They often appear together or alternate over time, which can confuse both the elderly person and their caregivers or family members. Therefore, medical monitoring is essential. Regular visits to a general practitioner, cardiologist, or angiologist can help identify these signs early and implement preventive and therapeutic measures before the problem worsens. In addition, simple tests such as blood pressure measurement, ankle brachial index (ABI) assessment, or vascular ultrasounds can provide a clear picture of the state of circulation. Understanding these signs and recognizing their importance is the first step in preventing further complications. When poor circulation is detected early, there is much that can be done to control and even reverse it. But even more important is understanding that these symptoms should not be treated in isolation. They are part of a larger picture that involves not only the blood vessels, but the individual's entire metabolism, lifestyle, and daily habits. And this is precisely where the vital role of nutrition comes in. Certain foods have the ability to strengthen blood vessels, improve blood flow, and reduce inflammation, helping to directly combat the factors that cause poor circulation. Therefore, in the next topic, we will explore nature's first allies in this process, foods rich in essential fatty acids, which help the body maintain healthy blood flow even with advancing age. Among them, one stands out in particular, fatty fish. Let's understand why it should be part of the diet of anyone who wants to protect their heart and blood vessels naturally and effectively. When it comes to cardiovascular health, few food sources have the recognition and scientific backing that fatty fish have earned over the past few decades. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring, tuna, and trout are not only tasty and versatile foods in the kitchen, they are true allies in maintaining good blood circulation, especially after age 60. Incorporating these fish into your regular diet is not just a nutritional recommendation, it is an effective and smart strategy for strengthening the vascular system, protecting the heart, and keeping arteries flexible and unclogged. The main reason fatty fish are so highly valued valued is their rich concentration of omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid, and DHA, docosahexaenoic acid. These compounds are known for their powerful anti-inflammatory action in the body. This is extremely important for circulation because low-grade chronic inflammation, often imperceptible, is one of the main causes of damage to the endothelium, which is the inner layer lining the blood vessels. When this lining is continuously attacked, such as by diets high in saturated fats, a sedentary lifestyle, or excess sugar, it loses its ability to dilate properly. The result is narrowing of the arteries, the formation of fatty plaques, and consequently difficulty in efficiently transporting blood. Regular consumption of fatty fish helps reverse this condition. The omega-3 fatty acids found in fish not only reduce inflammation but also improve blood flow, making it less thick, which reduces the risk of clot formation. This is especially important for older adults, as blood tends to become more viscous with age, increasing the risk of thrombosis, stroke, and heart attacks. In addition, these fatty acids promote a slight reduction in blood pressure and increase the elasticity of the arteries, two factors directly related to healthy circulation. Another key point is that frequent consumption of these fish contributes to lower triglyceride and LDL cholesterol levels, the so-called bad cholesterol, while promoting an increase in HDL cholesterol, which plays a protective role in the arteries. This lipid balance is one of the main pillars of cardiovascular health and is especially beneficial for people with a history of hypertension, type 2 diabetes, or metabolic syndrome, conditions that become more prevalent with age and have a direct impact on the efficiency of the circulatory system. But the benefits of fatty fish go beyond the cardiovascular system. DHA, in particular, is an essential component of the neuron membrane and is directly involved in maintaining cognitive function. A brain well nourished with omega-3 tends to have more efficient circulation and more stable functioning. And as we saw earlier, the brain is highly dependent on constant oxygenation. Therefore, by including fish, such as salmon or sardines, in their diet, older adults are not only benefiting their heart and blood vessels, but also protecting their memory, mental clarity, and emotional autonomy. In addition, fatty fish are valuable sources of vitamin D, a nutrient that, in addition to being essential for bone health, also plays a role in regulating blood pressure and immune system function. Vitamin D deficiency is common in older adults and is associated with various circulatory and inflammatory problems. Therefore, simply eating fish 2 to 3 times a week can help fill this deficiency naturally and efficiently. And the best part is that these fish are extremely versatile. They can be grilled, baked, steamed, or used in soups and stews. They go well with fresh herbs, olive oil, vegetables, and whole grains, a perfect combination for those seeking a diet rich in antioxidants and fiber. Sardines, for example, are affordable, rich in calcium when eaten with the bones, and can be easily included in salads or side dishes. Mackerel and herring, widely used in Nordic cuisine, are rich in flavor and also have an impressive concentration of nutrients essential for circulation. However, it is necessary to pay attention to the source and method of preparation. Whenever possible, choose fresh or frozen fish without added preservatives. Avoid fried or processed versions, such as those canned in refined vegetable oils or breaded fish ready for frying, as these methods negate many of the cardiovascular benefits and may even add inflammatory substances to the meal. Ideally, prepare them simply with natural seasonings to preserve their nutrients as much as possible. It is also worth mentioning that for those who have difficulty consuming fish regularly, whether due to personal taste, financial constraints, or difficulty in accessing it, fish oil supplementation can be a valid alternative as long as it is accompanied by a healthcare professional. Still, nothing replaces the food in its whole form, which offers, in addition to omega-3, a range of vitamins, minerals, and high-quality biological proteins. Therefore, when we think about dietary strategies to improve circulation after age 60, fatty fish occupy a prominent place. They offer a complete package of nutrients that act directly on the mechanisms that keep blood flowing freely, without barriers or resistance, ensuring vitality and protection for the body as a whole. And the most interesting thing is that, with small changes in the menu, it is already possible to reap noticeable results, such as more energy, less swelling, and greater overall well-being. But the power of food does not stop there. If fish take care of vascular fluidity and flexibility, some fruits of nature act directly on the integrity of the vessels and prevent premature aging of cells. Among them are red fruits, rich in powerful antioxidants and bioactive compounds that transform the body from the inside out. In the next topic, we will understand why they should occupy a special place in the diet of those seeking healthy circulation and a more active life after age 60. Red fruits, also known as wild fruits, are true gems of nature. Small in size but huge in benefits, they stand out when it comes to protecting the cardiovascular system and improving blood circulation, especially in people over 60. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and pomegranates offer a powerful cocktail of antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and vasoprotective compounds that act directly on blood vessel health, blood quality, and even cell longevity. Eating these fruits regularly is like giving your body a daily dose of defense and renewal, actively contributing to lighter, cleaner, and more efficient circulation. The highlight of red fruits is their high concentration of anthocyanins, a type of flavonoid that gives these fruits their vibrant and intense colors. But anthocyanins are not just for beautifying fruits. They play a vital role in protecting cells from damage caused by free radicals. This is crucial for vascular health because free radicals, when in excess, promote oxidative stress, which wears down tissues, inflames the vascular endothelium, and accelerates the hardening of the arteries. In other words, a diet rich in red fruits helps preserve the youthfulness and functionality of blood vessels, preventing them from becoming stiff and clogged over time. But the benefits go beyond antioxidant protection. Clinical studies have shown that regular consumption of fruits such as blueberries is associated with improved endothelial function, which is the ability of blood vessels to dilate and contract as needed by the body. This function is essential for maintaining stable blood pressure and allowing blood to reach all tissues easily. When this function is compromised, the heart has to work harder to pump blood, which can lead to high blood pressure, chronic fatigue, and even heart failure over time. Therefore, the simple habit of including a serving of red fruits in your breakfast or snacks can have a direct impact on the lightness of your circulation and the efficiency of your cardiovascular system. Pomegranates deserve special mention. This ancient fruit, valued since ancient civilizations, contains compounds called polyphenols, such as punicalagin, that act directly to reduce inflammation and improve blood flow. In addition, pomegranate has been shown in several studies to reduce systolic blood pressure, combat the formation of plaque in the arteries, and stimulate the production of nitric oxide, a substance that promotes vasodilation and facilitates blood flow. For older adults who often experience arterial stiffness and lower natural production of nitric oxide, eating pomegranates can be a valuable natural therapeutic resource. Another important feature of red fruits is their low glycemic load. Unlike many tropical fruits that quickly raise blood sugar levels, red fruits release energy gradually without causing glycemic spikes. This is essential for people who already have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, conditions that are common in older adults and have a direct impact on blood vessel health. Excess glucose in the blood damages capillaries, contributes to thickening of the arterial walls, and reduces efficient circulation, especially in peripheral regions such as the feet and hands. By choosing red fruits, older adults are not only avoiding this scenario, but also actively contributing to keeping their blood cleaner, more balanced, and more functional. In addition, these fruits are rich sources of vitamin C, vitamin K, and soluble fiber. Vitamin C acts as a powerful antioxidant, essential for the formation of collagen, the protein that gives structure and elasticity to blood vessel walls. Vitamin K is important for balanced blood clotting, preventing both bleeding and unwanted clots. Soluble fiber helps control total and LDL cholesterol levels, reducing the risk of arterial blockages. Together, these properties make red fruits a true natural remedy for the circulatory system. Another notable factor is that, because they are tasty and visually appealing, these fruits make it easier to stick to a healthy diet. Older people often find it difficult to adapt their diet due to a lack of enjoyment or variety. Red fruits, however, can be easily incorporated into different preparations, in smoothies, fruit salads, natural yogurts, porridges, healthy desserts, or even eaten plain, frozen, or dry. And although they are more expensive or less accessible fresh in some regions, frozen versions retain most of their nutrients and are great alternatives for regular consumption. For all these reasons, we can say that red fruits play a multifaceted role. They protect the heart, keep blood vessels healthy, improve blood flow, reduce cholesterol and glucose, and even strengthen the immune system. And when we think about dietary strategies for healthy aging, it is impossible to ignore the power that exists in each small red fruit. This is a group of foods that not only improves circulation, but also helps preserve autonomy, energy, and lucidity in those who consume them regularly. However, although these fruits work effectively to protect blood vessels and neutralize free radicals, there is another food that works in a complementary and profound way: garlic. Known for thousands of years for its medicinal properties, garlic is a true natural vasodilator with direct effects on blood pressure, blood viscosity, and endothelial health. In the next section, we will delve into the scientific and traditional evidence that makes garlic one of the greatest allies of circulation after age 60, and understand how to use it correctly to reap its maximum benefits. Garlic is one of the oldest and most respected ingredients in human history, present in virtually every culture. It transcends its culinary role and has been viewed for millennia as a powerful natural remedy. And it's no coincidence. When it comes to circulatory health, especially for people over 60, garlic stands out as one of the most effective foods for promoting healthy blood flow, controlling blood pressure, and preventing cardiovascular disease. Not only is it backed by popular tradition, but it has also been extensively studied by modern science, which has consistently confirmed its properties. The secret of garlic's action lies in its complex chemical composition, rich in sulfur alpha compounds. The best known of these is allicin, which is released when garlic is crushed, cut, or minced. Allicin has a powerful vasodilatory action, meaning it helps blood vessels expand, facilitating blood flow. This has a direct impact on blood pressure, since when the vessels dilate, blood circulates with less resistance, and the heart does not have to work as hard to pump. This effect is especially important in older adults, whose circulatory system tends to become stiffer over time, placing greater demands on the heart and increasing the risk of chronic hypertension, heart failure, and stroke. But the effects of garlic are not limited to blood pressure. It also acts effectively in reducing platelet aggregation, which means that it decreases the tendency of blood to form clots. This property is vital for the prevention of thrombotic events such as embolisms, deep vein thrombosis, and strokes. In older people whose blood naturally becomes thicker and more prone to clotting due to hormonal, metabolic, and even lifestyle changes, regular consumption of garlic can act as a natural anticoagulant without the severe side effects of synthetic drugs. This does not mean that it replaces prescribed medications, but rather that it can act as a safe and effective complement. Another notable benefit of garlic is its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory action. It helps fight free radicals that damage the vascular endothelium, thus protecting the inner walls of blood vessels. This effect is essential for preventing the development of atherosclerosis, the formation of fatty and calcium plaques in the arteries, which reduces the elasticity of blood vessels, hinders blood flow, and can, over time, lead to partial or total blockages. The anti-inflammatory action of garlic also contributes to the reduction of LDL cholesterol and triglycerides, while helping to slightly raise HDL, the so-called good cholesterol, completing an ideal picture for cardiovascular balance. Culturally, garlic has always been seen as a symbol of protection, whether against disease, evil spirits, or even bad energy. In practice, it really protects the body on several fronts, acting as a natural antibiotic, strengthening the immune system and preventing infections that, in the elderly, can become dangerous even when seemingly simple. But its most relevant role within the theme of circulation is precisely its ability to clear the way for blood to flow better, nourishing tissues and oxygenating the body more efficiently. However, it is important to know how to consume garlic to preserve its benefits. Allicin, its main active compound, is extremely volatile and degrades easily with heat. Therefore, to obtain its maximum therapeutic effects, it is best to consume garlic raw or slightly crushed and left to rest for a few minutes before preparation so that allicin can form. A good tip is to add chopped raw garlic to salads, spreads, sauces, or even mix it with olive oil to season ready-made dishes. For those who have difficulty with the intense flavor or digestion, there are also capsule versions or aged extracts, which maintain their effectiveness without causing gastrointestinal discomfort, but always with professional guidance. Daily use of garlic, even in small amounts, already offers noticeable results. In population studies, cultures with high regular garlic consumption, such as the Mediterranean diet or traditional Asian cuisine, have lower rates of cardiovascular disease, even with other risk factors present. In addition, garlic can be a great ally in reducing salt intake, which also contributes to blood pressure control. It enhances the flavor of foods, making them richer, more aromatic, and more satisfying without the need to overdo it on sodium. In short, garlic acts as a true natural lubricant for the circulatory system. It cleans, dilates, protects, and balances. For people over 60, this simple and accessible food is a powerful tool for preventing and maintaining vascular health. And when combined with other healthy habits, such as a good diet, exercise, and regular medical checkups, its effects become even more evident and long-lasting. However, even with all these beneficial foods we have explored, fatty fish, red fruits, and garlic, maintaining healthy circulation requires a broader approach. The way we live, move, rest, and eat on a daily basis directly influences the health of our blood and blood vessels. That's why in the next topic, we'll explore practical and effective tips that go beyond diet. Simple but extremely powerful actions that can be applied daily to further optimize circulation, prevent disease, and promote well-being in all stages of aging. Maintaining good blood circulation after age 60 goes far beyond including certain foods in your diet. Although the right nutrients, such as those found in fatty fish, red fruits, and garlic, play a key role in protecting blood vessels and blood quality, the human body is an integrated system that responds to the choices made throughout the day. Small daily actions, often underestimated, have the power to strengthen or harm circulatory health. Therefore, adopting a lifestyle that promotes good circulation is not only recommended, it is essential for those who want to live with energy, autonomy, and away from the risks that poor blood flow can bring. The first, and perhaps most powerful of these actions, is movement. The human body is designed to move, and blood in turn depends on muscle contraction to circulate efficiently, especially in the extremities. After the age of 60, the tendency to become sedentary often increases due to several factors: retirement, joint pain, fatigue, insecurity when walking, or simply a change in routine. However, it is precisely at this stage of life that movement becomes most crucial. Light walks of 20 to 30 minutes a day are enough to stimulate venous return, strengthen the heart, keep arteries more flexible, and reduce the risk of thrombosis. And the most interesting thing is that this type of activity does not require equipment, gyms, or large investments, just the will, comfortable shoes, and the desire to get started. In addition to walking, low-impact exercises such as water aerobics, Pilates, morning stretches, and even ballroom dancing are excellent for those who want to improve circulation without overloading fragile joints. They stimulate lymphatic flow, help oxygenate tissues, and combat leg swelling, which is so common at this stage of life. For those who sit for long periods of time, getting up every hour, moving your feet in circular motions, and stretching your legs are simple practices that make a huge difference in activating muscles and moving blood. Another fundamental pillar for good circulation is adequate hydration. With advancing age, the sensation of thirst tends to decrease, which leads many older people to drink little water throughout the day. This silent habit has serious consequences. When the body is dehydrated, the blood becomes thicker, flowing more difficultly through the vessels. This increases blood pressure, overloads the heart, and promotes clot formation. Ideally, you should drink at least 1.5 to 2 liters of water per day, unless you have specific medical restrictions. This water can also come from natural sources, such as herbal teas, light soups, and fruits rich in liquids, such as watermelon, oranges, and melons. Stress management is also an often overlooked measure, but one that has a direct impact on the circulatory system. Constant emotional tension causes the body to release hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, which cause vasoconstriction, increase blood pressure, and accelerate the heart rate. In the long term, this state of continuous alertness damages blood vessels, promotes inflammation, and increases the risk of heart disease. Relaxation techniques, deep breathing, meditation, reading, contact with nature, manual activities, and socializing are effective strategies for keeping the mind in balance and consequently relieving the burden on the circulatory system. Another important point is taking care of your sleep. Poor sleep or insufficient sleep negatively affects metabolism, increases insulin resistance, alters cholesterol levels, and impairs blood pressure regulation. During deep sleep, the body performs essential repair processes, including vascular wall recovery and cardiac muscle tone regulation. A healthy sleep routine with consistent bedtimes, a dark and quiet environment, and no screens before bed contributes to more efficient circulation and more balanced aging. We cannot fail to mention the importance of avoiding excessive consumption of salt and ultra-processed foods. Excess sodium causes fluid retention, raises blood pressure, and damages the endothelium of blood vessels. Processed foods, rich in preservatives, colorings, hidden sugars, and trans fats, accelerate the inflammatory and oxidative processes, two factors directly linked to the deterioration of circulation. Opting for a more natural diet based on real foods prepared at home is an effective and affordable way to protect your blood vessels and strengthen your overall health. In addition, there are external measures that also make a difference. Elevating your legs at the end of the day, especially if you have spent a lot of time standing or sitting, helps reduce blood pooling in the extremities and relieves swelling. The use of graduated compression stockings, recommended by a healthcare professional, can also be a useful tool to stimulate venous return and prevent the formation of varicose veins or thrombosis, especially in people who already have a history of circulatory problems. Finally, regular medical follow-up is essential. Measuring blood pressure, checking cholesterol and glucose levels, undergoing imaging tests when necessary, and maintaining open communication with your doctor are all measures that ensure early detection of any changes and allow for adjustments to be made to your care strategies. Circulatory health is dynamic, and keeping a close eye on its variations is a form of respect and commitment to your own body. By combining all these practices, mindful eating, daily exercise, hydration, stress management, quality sleep, and medical monitoring, you create a bodily environment conducive to proper circulation. And more than just preventing disease, you promote a lifestyle that favors the pleasure of living with lightness, energy, and mental clarity. After all, circulation is the road through which life moves within the body. When it flows well, everything else tends to fall into place. And now that we have explored the foods and habits that promote circulation, it is worth taking a step further and reflecting on how to organize these practices in your daily life in a simple and sustainable way. A light, balanced plan that can be adapted to the routine of seniors may be the secret to turning knowledge into action. In the next section, we will structure this information into a practical weekly plan with menu suggestions, schedules, and light physical activities to put into practice everything we have learned so far, with a focus on circulation, well-being, and quality longevity.